What you're about to hear isn't just a story, it's a warning. Turn the lights off, put your headphones on, and remember, the dead don't always stay quiet. This is The Night Files. The fear begins now. They always say cemeteries are peaceful. I used to believe that too, until I started noticing graves that weren't supposed to be there. My name's Doug. I was a groundskeeper at Green Hollow Cemetery for 14 years. Small town job. Not much action. Wake up at 6, grab coffee. Check the plots, trim the grass. Keep the place quiet. That peace didn't last. It started in late March, right after the last snow had melted. I was making my usual rounds when I noticed something off by section. See, between two old family plots was a fresh mound of dirt, dark, wet, unsettled. A grave, but no headstone, no flowers. Just a crooked wooden cross driven into the earth like someone had made it in a hurry. It wasn't on the burial list. I checked the log twice. Then I called the office. No record. Maybe someone's playing a prank. The assistant laughed over the phone. But I wasn't laughing. I had keys to the main gate. No one else should have gotten in. Still, I flattened the soil, removed the cross, and marked it as a vandalism case. Next morning, it was back. Same spot, same cross, but now it looked older, weathered, as if it had been there for years. That's when I noticed something even stranger. There were no footprints. Not mine, not anyone's. Just perfectly disturbed earth, like it had risen on its own. I tried to ignore it, told myself I was overthinking things. But it kept happening, week after week. New unmarked graves, always appearing overnight. I even started leaving flour near the gates to catch footprints. Nothing, like the dirt itself had come alive and dug its own hole. I spoke to Father Collins, the priest from the small chapel next door. He stared at the floor the whole time. Finally, he whispered, "Don't disturb them. They're not meant for you." That was all he said before he walked out. By the third week, I stopped sleeping. I'd get these dreams, vivid ones. I'd see the cemetery under moonlight, except it was filled with people standing silently, each next to one of the unmarked graves, and they were all looking up at my house. I'd wake up gasping, heart racing, cold sweat soaking through my shirt. I decided to end it. I brought a shovel and a lantern and stayed overnight. I waited until 2:40 a.m. That's when I heard it. Not digging, not footsteps. Breathing. Heavy, ragged, right behind me. I turned. Nothing. But when I looked back toward the mysterious grave, it was there again. Brand new. Damp. Fresh. I walked to it, heart pounding. The air felt thick. Too thick for spring. I dropped to my knees and started digging. 6 inches down, my shovel hit something solid. Wood. But it wasn't a coffin. It was a box. Just a small black box. No latch. No handle. I opened it. Inside was a photo of me, sleeping, in my bed, from inside my bedroom. I felt my stomach drop. I sprinted home, locked everything, pulled curtains shut. I told myself I'd call the police. I told myself I'd get help. But when I went to the back window to check the yard, a wooden cross had been planted in the grass. Same size, same angle, and fresh soil disturbed beneath it. That was a year ago. You're probably wondering how you're reading this. Because I don't remember writing it. I just woke up one morning, sitting at the table, laptop open. This file typed out in full. I haven't left my house in days. There's a new cross outside every morning now. I stopped counting after 13. They're getting closer to the door. And last night, one of them moved. I've never believed in ghosts. I've always thought cemeteries were sad, not scary. But I was wrong. Dead wrong. My name is Priya. I'm 27. And every year on November 18th, I visit my grandfather's grave in Shimla. He raised me after my parents died. And the cemetery, an old British-era hilltop graveyard, is where he chose to be buried. Section 7. Beneath a marble angel with open wings. That angel, it used to feel comforting. Now it watches me. It started last year. I arrived as usual, early morning. Fog still curling around the headstones like smoke. Shimla's winters are bitter, and the graveyard sits above Mall Road, cloaked in mist and silence. The only sound was my boots crunching over dead pine needles. I stopped by his grave, lit incense, left flowers, and sat beside the angel statue. That's when I noticed it. A second incense stick, still smoldering, and a fresh marigold garland. I hadn't placed it there. At first, I thought the groundskeeper had done it, maybe as a kind gesture, but when I asked, he looked confused. He said he never touched that grave, said it was already occupied by enough memories. I laughed nervously. He didn't. Over the next few days, I started having dreams. Always the same one. I'm standing in front of the angel. It's night. The sky is red. The cemetery is filled with shadows, figures I can't quite see. Then the angel turns its head toward me and whispers, "Don't leave him here alone." I always woke up crying. I told my boyfriend, Arjun, about the dream. He shrugged it off. "You're just grieving, Priya. Guilt does weird things to the mind." But then, the voice followed me into my waking life. I was brushing my teeth one morning when I heard it behind me. "Don't leave him here alone." I dropped the toothbrush. No one was there. I stopped visiting for a while. I needed space. I needed sanity. But 3 weeks later, my cousin called me in a panic. She'd gone to the cemetery and found something strange at Grandpa's grave. A message scratched into the base of the angel statue. Not carved. Scratched. In Hindi, it read, "Where is she?" She thought it was graffiti, but I knew better, because I'd heard those exact words whispered in my dream the night before. I returned the next morning, shaken but determined. The fog was heavier than usual. I couldn't even see the caretaker's shed. As I reached Section 7, something made me stop. There were footprints, bare feet, small, like a child's, trailing from the edge of the graveyard, all the way to Grandpa's plot. They circled it, twice, then stopped behind the angel. I stood frozen. Then I saw the garland again, a fresh one, and this time, the statue's face was different. The eyes, I swear to you, they were open, not carved, not sculpted, open, looking straight at me. I screamed, turned and ran, but the fog felt thicker, almost like hands reaching for my throat. When I finally burst out into the road, I collapsed. Arjun thought I was having a breakdown. I thought maybe I was too, until I checked my phone that night. There was a new photo in my gallery. I hadn't taken it. It was of the cemetery gate, and someone was standing behind it. A woman, dressed in white, with marigolds around her neck. She looked exactly like my grandmother, who died before I was born. I tried deleting the photo. It wouldn't go. I tried formatting the phone. It wouldn't restart. The next morning, the image was gone, but my phone background had changed. It was now a close-up of the angel statue, and the eyes were still open. I haven't gone back since, but sometimes I still hear the whisper at night. Don't leave him here alone. The marigolds appear outside my window now, sometimes freshly wet with morning dew, even when it hasn't rained. If you're hearing this story, please remember, if a statue in a cemetery ever changes, don't wait for it to speak, because once it does, it never stops. People say old cemeteries have rules. I used to think they meant don't litter, don't walk on the graves, show respect. But the rules I found were different. My name's Marcus. 2 years ago, I got hired as the night caretaker for the Elder Grove cemetery just outside Savannah, Georgia. I just moved from Atlanta, needed peace, quiet, and distance from people. Elder Grove offered that. Too much of it, actually. The place was massive. Over 80 acres, some graves going back to the Civil War. The main office was a brick shack near the front gate, with security monitors and a rusty coffee machine. On my first night, the manager, an old guy named Harland, handed me a weathered red binder. Read this and follow it. Don't ask questions, he said, looking dead serious. The front cover said, Caretaker's Manual, Elder Grove Cemetery, version 7. The first page was handwritten. Rule 1, do not patrol between 2:09 a.m. and 2:23 a.m. Sit still. Close your eyes if needed. Rule 2, if the gate bell rings more than once after 3 a.m., do not answer it. Rule 3, if you see a man in a Civil War uniform staring at camera 6, unplug the monitor. Rule 4, never respond to your name if it's whispered from behind. Rule 5, if the statue of the grieving angel faces west, leave immediately and don't come back till sunrise. I laughed, out loud, thought it was a joke for the new guy. Harlan didn't laugh. One more thing, he said. If you break a rule, don't break another. 1 is survivable. 2, you'll wish you were dead. He left without another word. The first night was quiet, creepy but fine. Second night, still boring. I started thinking the rules were just hazing. Then came night 3. I was sipping stale coffee, around 2:10 a.m. when I noticed something strange. The lights on camera 6 started flickering. That's the camera pointed at the oldest part of the cemetery, section 13. I looked closer. There was a man in uniform standing still in front of a grave. I zoomed in. The badge said Confederate Infantry. He was looking straight at the camera. I remembered Rule 3. Unplug the monitor. But I didn't. I kept watching. The man didn't move, didn't blink. And then he smiled. Not a friendly smile. Something stretched, like his skin was being pulled back. Then the camera went black. The monitor sparked, and all the lights in the office shut off. Silence. The front gate bell, ringing slowly. Once. Twice. I froze. The binder said after 3 a.m., don't answer if it rings more than once. It rang a third time, then a fourth, then it stopped. My mouth went dry. When the power came back on 30 seconds later, all the camera feeds were normal again, except camera 6. It was cracked, like the inside had been punched from the screen. I made it to morning, barely. Next night, I showed up with a flashlight, sage, and Bible. Laugh all you want. I wasn't taking chances. Everything was fine until 2:09 a.m. I forgot the time. I walked out on patrol like an idiot. Halfway through the path, all the crickets stopped, like someone hit mute on nature. And then, from the tree-line, I heard my name. Marcus. It was a whisper, clear as day, behind me. But I was alone. I turned. Nothing. Marcus. Closer this time. Like it was right by my ear. I ran. No shame. Sprinted all the way back to the office. Locked the door and sat with my eyes shut till dawn. When Harlan returned for shift change, I told him everything. He nodded. You broke 2 rules. I asked if I was fired. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, No, son. You're marked now. For the next few nights, I kept my head down. I followed every damn rule. I even taped the schedule to my arm. But on my 10th night, I saw something that wasn't in the manual. The grieving angel statue, the one by the chapel, had turned around. I swear on everything, it had been facing east. Now it was facing west. Arms open, like it was blocking something. I checked the rule book again. Rule 5. If the statue of the grieving angel faces west, leave immediately and don't come back till sunrise. But the gates were already shut. The auto lock kicks in at 1 a.m. I was stuck. That night, the whispers didn't come from behind me. They came from the ground, right under my feet. Soft at first, then louder. Marcus, why did you stay? The soil outside the office rippled. Something was digging up, not down. That was 3 weeks ago. I haven't worked there since. But the other day, I found a new binder on my porch. Same red cover. But this one said, Caretaker's Manual, version 8. Your rules have changed. Inside, there was only one rule. You can run, but not forever.